Hey guys, Brennan here alongside correspondent John Botelho here at Campanelli Stadium, home of the Brockton Rocks, and tonight, home of your Division 1A champions, Newton North. The first time in Joe Siciliano's 28 years behind the bench. He is a state champion coach. Could happen to a better guy. John, they come into the Super 8 tournament here, the number one seed, but they're not Bridgewater Raynham. They're not St. John's Prep. They don't have a bunch of Division 1 studs. Talking to Alex Joyce, who had two RBI today, I asked him if he felt that they were a little bit underappreciated, and he said, "Yeah, I think we were underappreciated. You know, we didn't have a Division I guys. We're just a team play here." What can you say about the quality of team play here with Newton North throughout this tournament?
You know, that's something Siciliano talked about a little bit too. These guys, he was talking about all winter long, they were the ones in the gym. They were working out 3 or 4 days a week together, getting ready, and he told us after the game that he's never had a team in his 28 years that got more out of their indoor practices than these guys. And you know, we talked about it all year that they were heavy in pitching. They didn't have necessarily a Notre Dame commit like a Jack Connolly, but they did have, as Siciliano said, he had 6 guys he was comfortable going to, you know, in a playoff game today. And I think that showed through this tournament that they were able to effectively use their bullpen and, you know, hold other teams down enough to get that timely hit or two to win the games they won.
Yeah. I think one thing we have to consider here, this is a cavernous outfield here at Campanelli Stadium, famously cavernous. We've seen a lot of power hitters hit fly balls that just die here constantly over the years in state tournament games, not just Super 8. Newton North, I don't think gave up their first earned run until like late April, if I want to be mistaken. And this is a team that defensively, they just don't give away any outs. Very solid defensively, and especially here today where it was a wood bat final because of Bay State sanctions here. But I think all through the tournament, you know, playing the games here, I think it was just advantageous for a team that was so defensively sound as Newton North, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, you know, and I think they especially were good. You saw them in the outfield. It seemed like even though the field is very deep, very few balls get down in the gap, and that's probably a benefit of playing on a field with no fence all year. And you know, they did it the other day in Rockland, which is a similar concept. And thinking back through the tournament, the only ball I remember getting out of here is the one Connor Columbus hit against Lincoln Sudbury, I believe. You know, Dan Cole, you were here for that one. Dan Cole for Silver Lake against Newton North. He unloaded a ball to left field, and they caught it in the middle of the warning track. I think their pitchers just, you know, pound the strike zone, make other teams beat them, and then the defense, like you said, just they don't give away outs. Very few errors for this team throughout the whole tournament today.
We talk about MVP of the Super 8 tournament. I think at the start, I think there was a clear-cut favorite, but now the way things have unraveled, I think you could go in many directions. One clear, I want to point out, Dylan Spordone made an appearance in all 4 games here. It was a real Iron Man, 11 strikeouts. That's one of the most strikeout totals for pitchers in this tournament. You couldn't ask more for a player like that. Who's your Super 8 MVP?
You know, Spordone obviously comes to mind. He worked the 3 1/3 in that 14-inning opening round against CM, came back the next day and picked up the win against CM in the 14th inning. Comes back against Silver Lake, picks up a save. He's the one who picks up the win against Bridgewater Raynham, and then he picks up the save out here today. I think that's a safe pick at this point. He, like you said, he was their Iron Man. Siciliano more than once called him the guy with the Jello rubber arm. You know, Alex Joyce, I feel like every time they had a big hit to knock in a couple of runs late in a game to tie it or win it, it seemed like it was Alex Joyce. You know, I haven't seen his final numbers, but he's got to be in the mix. You know, Noviello obviously had that incredible start with the 1,000 OPS, 1,000 on base percentage through his first 10 plate appearances. But I think it's probably one of those 2 guys for me, and I'd probably lean towards Spordone. The way, you know, this tournament was so grueling on pitching staffs, and he bailed them out one time after another, and he pitched out of jams, and he did everything they asked him to do. And I'm not sure a guy who didn't start a game could have had a bigger impact.
Well, we'll have our Super 8 MVP unveiled later in the week. Last Thursday, we had 10 finalists unveiled for our annual Mr. Baseball Award. I think, again, going into the year, John, there were a couple clear, distinct, clear-cut favorites, but the way things have unraveled in the last 3 weeks, I think especially, there's a number of names I think you can put in consideration. The one I think I'm kind of leaning towards right now, Isan Diaz, the shortstop out of Springfield Central. When I tell you guys, he's the best defensive infielder I've seen in my time at ESPN Boston. I'm not sugarcoating it. And the Arizona Diamondbacks, I think, apparently agree, taking him in the second round on the second night of the MLB draft on Friday. There's a couple directions you go. Neil O'Connor, what he's done, even in the last 2 games. You know, Jack Raleigh, St. Peter Marion, the way he battled in the playoffs. Who are some names that are on your short list right now?
I mean, you got to look at those three. I don't think anybody's had more helium than Neil O'Connor. It seems like, he keeps picking up wins for them, hitting home runs. He's doing everything he can possibly do to get his name in that mix. Hassan Diaz, obviously, the last time there was a high school position player taken in Massachusetts in the first few rounds is, I don't even know. I mean, that kind of speaks to it. And his numbers are there too. It's not just the glove. He hit 500 with a 900 slugging percentage. You still got to give a little bit of a look to the guys down in Bridgewater Raynham. Obviously, Noviello hit the cover off the ball all year, had an ERA of 1. Friday, he was the Gatorade Player of the Year, and I think those two guys were obviously the early pick. And it'll be interesting to see how things shake out as the rest of the tournaments wrap up.
Absolutely. We still got more action here. We still have 4 state champions to award in baseball at the end of the week, so stay tuned for more of that. Congratulations again, Newton North inaugural Division 1A Super 8 champions. We'll have more coverage rest of the week, so stick around for ESPN Boston. For John Botelho, Brendan Hall, ESPN Boston.